Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Assalamualaikum
Assalamualaikum
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone, welcome to.
Weekend English Talk Series.
In this series, we are going to talk with inspirational people about their stories and experience at weekends.
But before that, let us introduce ourselves.
I'm Muhammad Ahmad Sena. I'm second grade junior high school student. I'm originally from Bengkulu in Sumatra, but now I live in Semarang. And how about you?
I'm Faisusena Khairi. I'm a first grade junior high school student and I'm from Bekasi. But currently, I live in Cikarang East, West Java.
Nice. And what do you feel today?
I feel amazing because we are going to talk with amazing people. And the topic is study
Study
journey
journey in
in Istanbul,
Istanbul,
Turkey.
Turkey. That's great to hear. And how about the viewer? How are you guys doing? Let us know in the live chat. But now I'm thinking, whom we are gonna talking with today?
So we're gonna talk with Mr. Jihad. He is a student. He has been a student of Istanbul Sabahattin Zaim University in Turkey.
Wow,
He also was a general Islamic knowledge teacher.
that's really exciting. For those who don't know, and don't forget, we have a giveaway for three viewers who sent the best question. So, without any further ado, let's start this talk. Good morning, Mr. Jihad. How are you doing?
Good morning, I'm fine.
Uh,
Alhamdulillah.
where where are you now and how is it there, sir?
Well, I'm right now is in Istanbul, to be precise, in my apartment. The weather now is very cold. It's like something like 16 degrees of Celsius.
Oh, it's really cold.
Yeah.
Have you drunk some coffee or maybe some tea this morning, sir?
Not yet. I just finished my prayer like 15 minutes ago. So yeah, wake up. Uh, After wake up, I do my prayer and immediately open my laptop. So there is no time for tea or coffee or anything like that.
Okay, so, uh, how did you can memorize 30 juz in the Al Quran?
Well, I memorized Quran when I was in high school. My high school was in Ashkarima, if you know it. This is located in Karanganyar.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, actually, I started from middle school. It is in Ibnu Abbas. It's also, school for uh, Quran memorization. But I finished my memorization when I was at my first class on high school in Iskarima, I think. Yeah, it
Wow.
is a
Wow.
program. Yeah, a program. The program was this because I was the first generation of Imtak Iskarima. The program was pretty ambitious. The program was from the teacher. We was instructed to be able to memorize Quran in just like 6 months. So yeah,
Wow.
Wow.
that's story. Yeah, so we have to memorize something like 5 pages of Quran every day.
Ooh,
Oh.
it's really difficult.
Yeah, very difficult.
Uh, Tips and tricks for studying in Turkey. How?
Tips and trick for studying in Turkey. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. First is, of course, Turkey is, especially Istanbul, is the city of opportunities. As long as you have the will to be good, there is so many opportunities you can get here, especially if you are diligent. As long as you're diligent, you have good grades, you have, the will to be able to study in good university. There's so many opportunities you can get. Also, as for the tips, probably, yeah, is to connect with many people, because Turkey, in Turkey, people here, they can't speak English. Most of them only speak Turkish, especially like if you come to the market, there is no one who can speak English. Not even what is your name, my name is. They didn't even know that. Yeah, so you have to know people here, especially who can help you to get into people here who know Turkish because the knowledge of foreign language beside Turkish here is very very low.
Wow.
Wow.
Similar to Japanese people. Japanese people as well, their English is very bad. Here in Turkey is not dissimilar. Even in the office of immigration, immigration, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's office that the people who come there is foreigner people, yeah. But
Yes.
because even though the people who come here every day, who come there every day is foreign people, the officers, the Turkish officers there didn't even know English. So it's very difficult if you don't know Turkish here in Turkey. That's
Oh.
it.
Uh,
Probably some of the tips. Yeah.
how can you be a student in the Turkey?
How can I be student in Turkey? Yeah. There is some ways you can go to study in Turkey. For example, there is scholarship ways. Another there is independent. Yeah. I was from the independent side. So yeah, the just a short story, a little story about my journey to Turkey. After I graduated from high school, Shikarima, I was working as a teacher for 2 years in Shikarima. First year I was in Papua, in Hidayatullah Jayapura. In second year I was in Shikarima as a teacher, Quranic teacher, Quranic teacher in the Kutab Shikarima. So yeah, one day my father called me home and told me to go to Turkey. And just
Oh,
Oh.
the month after that, yeah, the month after that, I immediately go to Turkey. So yeah, I didn't even have a little bit preparation. When I go to Turkey, I was only bringing with me a small briefcase. That's
wow.
not if the yes inside it is only clothes. I didn't know a little bit Turkish anything. I didn't know anything. I just go to Turkey with my brother, the two of us, without anything, without any knowledge about Turkey. So yeah, it's very independent one. It's not. I didn't recommend this path, this way to go to study Turkey because you know it's very hard. Then there is a lot of things that is easier if you have someone, you have connection in Turkey before you go to Turkey. So yeah, I was already here in Turkey for 4 years,
Oh.
around 4 years in Turkey. Right now, I am in my fifth semester in Istanbul Sahabat
Oh.
Zaim University. Alhamdulillah, I got scholarship, 100% scholarship from
Ish.
because of prestation. I
Oh.
got last year. I got the first place in my class, highest GDP. So yeah, I got this scholarship. There is scholarship for people who is the first, the second, and the third in the class. And Alhamdulillah, I got the first one.
Oh,
Wow.
It's
wow.
beautiful.
Uh, what is your motivation to study in Turkey?
My motivation to study in Turkey.
Yes.
Well, uh, yeah. What's difference between studying in Turkey and Indonesia is that one of the difference is that in Turkey you will have so many different experiences. If Indonesia, your classmate is probably going to be Indonesian. Not probably, it's definitely your classmate is definitely are going to be just Indonesian. Your fellow countrymen. But in here, if you study in Turkey, especially in Istanbul, which is Istanbul is the city of two continents. So there is so many people from everywhere, not just from Turkey. For example, my classmate, I have classmates from Russia, from Ukraine, from
Oh,
Yemen,
wow.
from Arabic words. Like for example, that's the one I mentioned, from Yemen, from Abu Dhabi, from Somali, African,
Oh,
also from America. Well,
wow.
Oh,
there is so many, yeah, there's so many kind of people from everywhere from the world. So the experience is definitely going to be richer, more rich than when if you study in Indonesia. That's one of the reasons. And if you have, because there is so many people from anywhere in the world, you also can connect with many people. You can have relation connection with many people from everywhere in the world. For example,
oh,
if you have classmates from Thailand, if you go to Thailand, because you have classmates from Thailand, if you go to Thailand, there is someone who you can meet who can help you if you want to do business there. That is one of the example. Or probably in Russia, no, in Russia is not. Today is war, so it's not going to be. Anyways, if you go to Yemen or anywhere like that, where you have a classmate there, they can help you to probably if you just want to be a tourist or if you want to be a businessman there is someone who can help you. That's one of the reason. Another reason is that because the education here in Turkey is is in my opinion is better than they are in Indonesia. The education here, especially for universities, they are is according to standard of European curriculum. So the education, in my opinion, is better than they are in Indonesia.
oh,
Some of my reason, yeah.
yes. How to make friends with Turkish people?
How to make friends with Turkish people? Yeah, most of Turkish people is kind, so it's actually easy if you want to be friend with them, especially the Islamic one. It's different from how you imagine. Not every people in Turkey is Islamic. I mean, 98% of the population in Islam is in their religion in Islam, but not all of them are Islamic. Do you know what I mean?
Uh,
Their
yes.
Islam is just in their in their identity card.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it is the same as in Indonesia. There is people, yeah, who is their religion is only in their identity card. But if you meet, especially the Islamic people here in Turkey, they're very kind, and yeah, it's very easy to be friendly with them. But if you want to be, if you want it to be easier, of course, it's better to for you guys to be able to speak Turkish, because as I mentioned before, none of them know English.
Mm,
There
okay.
is region in Istanbul especially, like in Fatih and Ayub. This is especially uh, Islamic people where Islamic people gather. This is the center of Islam in Istanbul. Ayub Sultan and Fatih Jamia. This Fatih district. This district is where Fatih Jami is located. Jami is most in Turkey. Fatih
Mm,
Jami. This is where the tomb of Mehmed II. Sultan Mehmed II Al Fatih located. And yeah, around Fatih Jami, around this Fatih Mosque is so many. There is so many madrasah. There are so many madrasah. People who came to Turkey to learn Islamic knowledge to mulazamah with many mashaykh there because there is so many mashaykh from probably uh, from Syria, from Palestine, and from because Syria and Turkey share the border, so there is many people from Syria who ran away to Turkey because of the war there. And there is so many mashaykh. There are so many mashaykh there in this district, Fatih district, that teach people Islamic knowledge. There is also Ayub Sultan district. Ayub Sultan, as you can see from its name, Ayub. This is the Turkish language. How Turkish people call Abu Ayub Al Ansari. Do you ever
Mm,
hear? Did you ever heard Abu Ayub Al Ansari?
No.
no,
Abu Ayub Al
never.
Ansari is Sahabah, his companion.
Oh,
He's one of the companion of our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
oh,
He is the last Sahaba. He's the oldest Sahaba who joined the war to conquer the Constantinople.
ooh,
Yeah, Abu Al sorry. His tomb is also located here in Ayub Sultan district,
yes.
and there is also yeah because of that this district is also a center of Islamic people.
Oh,
Uh, what language do you use in Turkey?
What language do I use in Turkey?
Yes.
Well, for my education, for my education in university, I use English. But yeah, in daily life, of course, I use Turkish. Even though my Turkish is not that good, but yeah, for daily life it is sufficient. It's enough. But for my university, for my study, I use English.
oh, okay. How do you feel if you have a rude friend?
What?
What do you feel if you have a rude friend?
Ah, a road friend. Well, this how do I feel if I have road friend? Well, I have road friend. We have to see first if this friend is rude because he is, he's not a good person, or just because he is from the culture that's different from ours. Because in Indonesia and other people culture from other countries is different. One thing that's for us is rude may be not the same for them in their culture. For example, it's not just another country. Even if we have in Indonesia, if for example, Japanese people meet with someone from another island like Batak, probably you can Batak or somewhere who is for us Japanese people is rude. It's not because they are bad person. For example, they talk with high voice. That's for us, for Japanese people, is probably a bit rude. But for them, that's just their culture. That is just how they grow from from childhood. So we can't generally help all of them, judge all of them because sometimes probably they're rude not because they are not a good person, but because the culture is different, and we have to be understanding of this. That's what my answer is.
Oh, okay. Uh, wait, sorry. What is the unique culture in Turkey?
The unique culture in Turkey. There is so many unique culture in Turkey. I suggest you to come here some days in the future so you can see it by yourself, by your own eyes. But something that's probably is many of you know is that Turkish people, many of them is Sufis. You know Sufis?
Mm.
You don't know Sufis. Sufis
Uh,
is, yeah, it's hard to to describe how what Sufis is, but you can search it in Google or you can search it in in YouTube. There is one, they dance, yeah. Turkish people love to dance. And even in Sufis, this there is Sufis dance, the one who,
Spinning.
yeah, spinning around. That's one, yeah, spinning around. You can see it in Istanbul if you want to. That's one of their culture. Then, yeah, another culture is probably their food. That's if you eventually if one of you will go here in Turkey to study, the culture in food is also different. Their food is most of their food is bland without with the seasoning.
Yes.
Also, if not bland, their food is sour. So yeah, it's one
Mm.
of the complaint of many Indonesian student here, not just student, many Indonesian tourists here in Turkey is that the food is not suitable for their tongue because yeah, it's different.
Mm.
Their food is more similar to Arabic food. Arabic food is also bland. It's different from our food culture, where if we add many seasoning in our food. But in my opinion, uh, Turkish people culture food is healthier because they didn't add so many MSG in their food, different from ours. Uh, Another difference in culture is in what is it? Yeah, probably in lifestyle. It's also different. It's also one of the thing that's many student complain, especially the student who live in dormitory, uh, who is living in the same dormitory as Turkish student. One of the things that they complain about is that Turkish people they sleep at like 2 in the night and wake up at something like 10 in the morning. Yeah, so it's very different.
Yes.
Sometimes when the teacher asks us to introduce ourselves and question us about when uh, or wake up time is, they always surprised when we told them that we Indonesian people always wake up like in 5 in the morning because it's very different for them. They and Arabic people is similar. There is similarities between them and Arabic people in that they wake up late.
Uh, why do you want to study in Turkey?
Why do I want to study in Turkey? Well, I already answered this question before, but for another reason for why I study in Turkey uh, is that, yeah, because Turkey, as you know, it is the last place where Caliphate, Islamic Caliphate was located. It was
Mm.
still in uh, 20th century, so there is still so many you know historical buildings, historical sites where I can come there and see with my own eyes how is the last Islamic Caliphate, how their their governmental building, for example, like Tulmabahce Palace, Topkapi Palace. Those are the palace that the last Ottoman Sultan uh, was resided. So the especially in Istanbul here, the history is very rich. If you love history, this is the place for you because different from probably another country or another culture, Turkish government they really pay attention on keeping their history. So the building that was built from like 1,000 year ago or 2,000 year ago was very uh, very still in good condition.
Mm.
They occasionally do a restoration for the historical building. For example, as you know, the walls for Constantinople Castle still there, still until now still standing here. If you want to
Wow.
go there, you can just go and uh, and see them by yourself. That's another reason, yeah, because I want to see the history. I want to see the places where the last Khalifate was located.
Uh, what do you feel when you got a big achievement?
How do I feel? What do I feel when I got big achievement? Well, the first feeling, of course, is to be, you know, to thanks Allah Subhanahu wa Taala because everything is from Allah. There is nothing that's happening without the will of Allah. So that's, of course, is the first feeling. The second feeling is satisfaction, I guess, because I already work very hard. Like for example, for this achievement to get my scholarship, to get the first ranking in my class, I have to every day I have to work to sleep at very late in the night and wake up at early for one day, each day probably when it's near the exam date. I only sleep for like 3 to 4 hours every day to study the subjects. So yeah, I guess the feeling is something like my work hard is what I deserve or something like that. The third one is of course happy because I successfully made my parents and probably my friends, my teachers to be proud of me because of my this achievement. Yeah. Because it's also it's listening the burden for my parents because studying in in overseas is not cheap from every day is for eating, the cost for living costs for every day, and the cost for university tuition fee each semester is not cheap. So to be able to lessen the burden from a parent is a very good thing for me.
Mm.
Hmm.
What do you feel when you are in Turkey?
How do I feel when I am in Turkey?
Yes.
Well, uh, Turkey, especially here in Istanbul, where I am studying at, it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful city. Like I mentioned before, it's city located between two countries. There's so many beautiful things. The city is very tidy, very neat, is way more beautiful. For example, like say Solo in my hometown, Solo or something like that, it's way more beautiful here. If you love photography, well, this is the place for you because anywhere you want to take a photo is beautiful. It's beautiful. It's regarded as one of the most beautiful city in the world. Is Istanbul. The people is most of them is friendly, so you can say that I am happy here in Turkey. But if you ask me which do you prefer, living in Turkey or living in Indonesia, I will say that for me, for now, is my opinion right now is Indonesia is I prefer to live in Indonesia because it's just my hometown. It's different. There's different feeling. It's more comfortable. Even though you can say that the technology or the scenery or the opportunities here in Istanbul is there is much higher numbers here in Turkey, in Istanbul. But in my opinion, it's still more comfortable to be in my own hometown.
Mm.
Oh, if I want to study IT in Turkey, what is the recommended university for that major?
Yeah, if you want to study technology in Turkey, yeah, this technology is one of the recommended subject if you want to be studying in Turkey, university study in Turkey, because yeah, their technology is we can say that it's more advanced than many countries. So my recommendation is probably Istanbul Technic University. Istanbul Tech University, as you can see from its name, this is university for technical subjects. The specialist itself in technical subjects like technology and other subjects. This is yeah already this university is regarded as one of the top universities if you want to study about technical and technology. Or there is also Istanbul University and Boğaziçi University. Istanbul University is the oldest university in Turkey. This university was built by Mehmed II. Mehmed II is Al-Fatih, Sultan Al-Fatih, a day after the conquest of Constantinople. Yeah, so it was established in something like 1846. Yeah, 1846. It's the first Ottoman higher education institution based on European tradition.
Oh.
This also, yeah, it was founded by Ottoman Sultan Muhammad II. The first time it is built, it was a school for philosophy, medicine, law, and letters. It has gone through many iterations since then, serving as madrasa, Islamic theological school, and as an institution of higher education called the Darul Funun, House of Sciences, in the uh, 19th century. Before being established as Istanbul University in 1933 after Mustafa Kemal Atatürk reformed Turkish education system. This this university, Istanbul University, besides being the oldest of university in Turkey, is the best university in Turkey. Is in the ranking of universities in Turkey. This last year it was the first in the ranking. My brother and many Indonesian is here are there studying in this university, Istanbul University. There is also Boğaziçi University. Boğaziçi University. This university, uh, this previous name is not Boğaziçi. but its previous name was Robert College. This is the first uh, college university, the first American university founded outside of the U.S. From this name, its founder is Christopher Robert and missionary Cyrus Hamlin. Yeah, it was then after years of this foundation, this university is handed to the Turkish government and changed its name to Boğaziçi University, or you can call it Bosphorus University. This is also one of the top university in Turkey.
How much does it cost to live for a student studying in Turkey?
Well, how much does it cost to study in Turkey? For a living cost, this is if it is last year or the year before that, probably 2 or 3 million for 1 month is enough. But now, because of the inflation, if you updated with the news, you know that Turkey right now has a big problem in inflation. It's a very big inflation. The inflation has reached until something like 3 digits. It was something like 80% inflation rate. Because of that, yeah, the living cost and anything, any price here is higher than it was last year. It's much higher. Every day, every price is increasing, and it is still increasing today. As for the tuition fee for university, it's very cheap, especially if you accept that you are going to public university. Public university here in Turkey, they got help from the government, so they got something like 70. No, it's probably 90% cut from the government. So, for example, if you study if you want to be a doctor in Turkey, you have to buy something like 500 million rupiah. Yeah, if you want to be a doctor in Indonesia, if you want to be a doctor in Turkey, if you study to be a doctor in Turkey, it just becomes something like uh, 30 30 millions. So the difference is very big. For public university, there is even a tuition who burden their students to pay tuition only for something like 1 million or 2 million each semester, rupiah each semester. It's probably cheaper than your school EDN. I because yeah, it's just 1 or 2 million for each semester, not each month. One semester is for 4 months. So yeah, 4 months. If it is each semester is only one 1 million, then each month they only pay for something like 250 thousand rupiah. That's very cheap. It is in public university, but because of it's cheaper than other university, public university, if you want to go there, it's not easy. There is an exam. If in Indonesia we have SBMPTN, here in Turkey we have YOS. YOS is stands for Yabancı Öğrenci Sınavları, Yabancı Öğrenci Sınavı, or in English it means something like an exam for foreigner student. It's similar to SBMPTN. You have to pass this exam. You have to before you take this exam, you have to know Turkish first. You have to know Turkish, and your Turkish there is you have to be able to speak Turkish at the level of expert to be able to take this exam because in public university there is no uh, there is still lack of subject that use English, so you have to know Turkish if you want to study in public university. The first requirement is to be able to speak Turkish. The second requirement is to pass the exam, and if you're able to excel in these two, you will be able to study in public university. But the competition is very tight. It's very it's very hard. So you have to study very hard for this one. But if you are able to be accepted, I mentioned before, the tuition fee is very cheap. It's not even worth mentioning because what just 1 million or 2 million a semester is very small amount of money. The second is to be in private university. Private university is it has higher tuition fee, but it's also easier for you to be accepted there. In private university there is no exam for it. Probably the exam is only for language exam, but beside that you will be if you have the money you will be able to be accepted in private universities in Turkey. But as I mentioned, the cost is higher. It can reach like 20 millions each semester for private universities. So if you have a good brain, if you are diligent, you can go to public universities to get the to get the tuition fee that's lower than private university.
How do students survive in Turkey? Are they allowed to work?
Nah, for undergraduate students, or you call it in Indonesia S1, S1 or something like that, undergraduate student legally they're not allowed to work here in Turkey.
Mm,
To work here in Turkey, you have to uh, to help with you something called work permit, and for undergraduate student, it's not allowed to have it. For undergraduate student, it's not allowed to have it. But there is still many Indonesian people that's work here in Turkey. You can still search for work here, but probably it's going to be only working in Indonesian restaurant because there is many Indonesian restaurants here in Turkey, in Istanbul especially, and you can go there to work if you need more money, or you can also do business. Like there is many Indonesian student here who do just tip. You ever heard just tip? Jasa
no.
titip. You don't know just tip. Yeah, just tip is simply it is they open a service to send goods from Turkey to Indonesia, or the reverse, they bring goods from Indonesia to Turkey.
Mm,
There is many Indonesian students who do business something like that, just tip. Or you can also be a guide, a guide for tourists. Guide for tourists is also it pays very high. Each day
mm.
you can be paid in something like $80 for
Ooh.
1 day. Yeah, for 1 day kidding tourists. So yeah, even though it's actually illegal, there is many ways for you to be able to look for a living here in Turkey. especially if you already in master program in S2. It's legal for you to work, so it's way easier for you to look for work. But for an undergraduate student, most of us is doing work like what I mentioned as a cat, as a server in restaurant Indonesian restaurant, or providing just tip service.
Wow, it makes me speechless. But I think our viewers are also very excited to get their question answered. By the way, three of our viewers with the best question will select us to winner. What do you think the reward would be?
Hmm, maybe a laptop or a brand new headset.
Or maybe a TV? Maybe an ETN scholarship? We don't know, right?
So everyone, stay tuned until the end.
Okay, just put down your best question in the live chat. Come on, guys, don't be shy.
Uh, this is a question from Kuswahyadi. The question uh, is about culture shock between Turkey and Indonesia. Is your time, Mr. Jad?
Culture shock between Turkey and Indonesia. Yeah, most of us probably think that Turkey is a very Islamic country. Probably we got this impression because of it's the last caliphate located there, and probably because of the media who portrayed the Turkey as Islamic country. But after I go here, I went there in Turkey. It's not like that. If we compare between Indonesia and Turkey, I can definitely say that Indonesia is more Islamic than Turkey. Yeah.
Mm, okay.
For example, like the clothes I live in Solo, in it's probably pretty Islamic, but here there in Turkey, their clothes, even if already in this weather, you know, it's not good, especially the woman. This woman, yeah. Also, the one I mentioned, they didn't wake up for subuh prayer. Most of them didn't wake up for subuh prayer. For another example is like in uh, Idul Adha and Idul Fitri. If it is in Indonesia, as we know it, it's very big. We did a very big celebration for these 2 days for Idul Adha and Idul Fitri. For Idul Adha, we even go to our mosque, and each of us is helping around to make the meat. But here in Turkey, there is nothing like that. The holiday is not even 1 week. The holiday for these 2 days is probably only 2 days or 3 days at most. And Indonesia, if we are in when Idul Adha Idul Fitri, most of us probably buy new clothes, wear new clothes, then go to our family's home, mudik. But in Turkey, people goes to Salah Idul Adha or Idul Fitri only with with their T-shirt, only with T-shirt and probably with jeans for their pants. So yeah, one of my most culture shock is about Islamic part, the culture. Yeah, Islamic is still very big. Well, it's understandable because even they only started to be allowed to wear hijab only in 2010, I think 2010. So it's only recently. Because in the reign of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, as you know, Islam is very oppressed. Even the adhan, you are not allowed to adhan in Arabic. The azan, when in the reign of this president, is in Turkish. You have to change it to Turkish.
Oh,
The Yeah, the Islam is very oppressed. So it's only recently that Islam is, here in Turkey, is, how do you call it, wake up, develop again, because before the Islamic development was totally prevented by the government. Only this is only in the hand of the current president Erdogan that Islam is developing again, started to be developed again. It's even one. Yeah, there's also something unique is that about the culture is that women here in Turkey, even if the woman is wearing hijab, you will see a lot of them is uh, smoking. Even if she is wearing a kamis, Muslimah clothes, wearing hijab, you will see sometimes in the corner of the street or in the front of the shop, you will see that probably some of them are smoking. Is also one of the bad culture that I see in Turkey. But uh, the good culture here in Turkey is that people here is way more disciplined than they are in Indonesia. For example, just there anywhere you go, anything you need, there is always QEV for it. For example, like just waiting for bus or waiting for toilets, there is always QEV, and people there is no, they didn't need people to organize them. Each of them know how to be disciplined, how to not cheat each other or anything like that. Yeah, I think in the discipline part, Turkish people is way more, you know, advanced than Indonesian people. Another example is like if you want to mm, ride a tramway. Tramway is one of the important transportation in Istanbul. This a train that's walks in the middle of the street. It's not train that's in the it's rail, but this train. If you want to ride this train, you have to tap your card to the machine. There is a card that you use for transportation. This uh, in this machine for you to to ride this tramway. If you are not disciplined, if you are not kind, actually you can just go and ride the tramway without paying, because there is most of the places where the station where you can ride tramway, there is no officer who is looking for after it. So if you are not kind, if you are not disciplined, you can just read it without paying. But from my observation, from my experience, I even see one person who ride this tramway without paying. So it's something that's is unthinkable in Indonesia. Indonesia, if Indonesian people, if they have an option of paying or not paying, they will definitely choose the not paying option, different from Turkish people.
Hmm. Thank you for the answer, sir. Moving to next question. How much? No. Okay. Can you tell me about what is the difference university in Turkey and university in Indonesia?
Difference in from university in Turkey and the university in Indonesia. Yeah. As I mentioned before, the method of the education is different. If in Indonesia, for example, for undergraduate study in Indonesia, you have to write a thesis to be able to graduate from undergrad from the under to be able to get undergraduate degree. But here in Turkey, the same as European universities, you de- you are not required to write thesis. Why? Because in every days, in every in every subject, you are already instructed to write a lot of things, not just thesis. Yeah. So one of the biggest difference between Turkish university and Indonesian university is that we Turkish student, we people uh, who's learning, who's studying in Turkish people, we write a lot of things, writing articles, writing, uh, making a presentation, a lot of things that, for example, like this week's alone, I have to make two presentation and one article just this week alone. So that's one of the difference between University Indonesia and University in Turkey. The method of education is different.
Uh, Thank you for the answer, sir. Uh,
Moving to the next question. Uh, this is a question from Milisayu Wulandari. Uh, how is the tolerance of religious life in Turkey? It's your time, Mr. Jihad.
Yeah, the tolerance about religious. Yeah, the tolerance is, I can say, is very high here in Turkey. They are very much uh, tolerates any kind of uh, culture, especially religious culture. They even tolerate the bad things. For example, like gay culture, lesbians culture. Yeah, they also tolerate because Turkey is European country. So similar to European country, they are so very tolerant to anything, most of things. For religions, yeah, I think they do very tolerant. Yes, they are very tolerant for religious culture. For example, uh, Shia, yeah, Shia. There, as you know, Turkey and Iran is also sharing the border. Iran is in the northeast. Yeah, it's northeast side of Istanbul. They share the border there. So there is also many Iran people here in Turkey. And as you know, Iran is Shiite. Most of them are Shiite, and they are free to do a period to do their ceremonies each year here in Turkey. I see most, but the difference that the Shia here, the Shia people here is not as bad as Indonesia probably or the fanatic one in Iran. My neighbor is even Shia people, but she's very kind. Sometimes she give us food, give us things like carpet or something like that. So from experience, yeah, the religious tolerance is very high in Turkey, and we each other respect their culture.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jihad, for sharing your stories and experience. I hope this can inspire many people who want to study abroad. But before we close this talk, maybe closing statement from Mr. Jihad would be great.
Yeah, the closing statement is first. I want to say thank you to Iden, to Hussein and Sena for giving me the opportunity to talk here in this weekend English talk. Also, I
Yeah.
apologize for probably because I am less energetic because it's early in the morning, so my brain is not working 100% probably yet. Also, probably my last message is that it doesn't matter where you study in Indonesia, in Turkey, in Arab, in Medina, or anywhere like that. The more is important is yourself. Even if you can't study in overseas, even if you study in Turkey, the things that matter the most is yourself. Because there is people here, my friends he was here in Turkey, but is very lazy. He didn't get anything. But uh, my friend who is studying in Indonesia is very diligent, so he get a lot of things from what he study. So what matters the most is not where you study, it's also matter, but what matters the most is what you are doing. That is my message, I guess.
Mm. Thank you, Mr. Jihad. Thank you for sharing very useful knowledge. I hope the knowledge we get today can be useful someday. So now we are going to close this session.
But before that, we will announce the winner. Oh yeah, I know what you are waiting for. Now we are gonna announce the winner for the best question.
Uh, the best question are Kuswahyudi, Anoman Mudrika, and Milisa Wulandari. For further information, you can call the number in the live chat.
Be hurry or you will regret it. And finally, we have reached the end of this episode of Weekend English Talk series. Thank you for Mr. Jihad and everyone who has participated in this session. And let's close this weekend take talk series with Hamdallah and Kafaratul Majlis.
Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim.
Amin. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika
Bihamdika
asyhadu
asyhadu
an
an
la
la
ilaha
ilaha
illa
illa
anta
anta
astaghfiruka
astaghfiruka wa
wa
atubu
atubu
ilaik.
ilaik.
Wassalamualaikum
Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.